We are live. It's Equal Dojo up in this house. It's your boy Dark Mage. You know how we do. We're gonna do some of this, listen to some music before we get started here type deal, as we usually do. Spend the first 10 minutes or so chilling out, getting prepped up. I just came back from a walk, and you know how it is. Let's get to it.
僕らはすりガラスの霞む遠い空透かして綺麗な夢を見る澄み渡る夜に輝く星をこぼれるいくつもの星屑の響きを並べ五線を描き出そう懐かしく胸に降る子守歌奏でる木の音色がこの夢を守ってくれるよ君の瞳に注ぐすべての光が美しく春よに願ってるいつの ねえ君のその涙に僕が帳を下ろすから何も怖がらずにまた夢の中にいてもいいんだよ眠りに落ちる間際の微笑みに癒されてくいつか必ず君に鮮やかな朝は訪れるだろうその日をずっと待ち焦がれてどこかで恐れてるんだ柔らかな手で僕の頬に触れる君の仕草まで全部焼き付けて覚えてくよ夜明けが来ても笑えるように矛盾だらけの願いの影がかすめて消える本当は僕の弱さなんて何一つ知らなくていいいつか必ず君を鮮やかな朝が迎えるだろう大丈夫だよきっと君はここから歩いて行ける君の瞳に映るすべての世界が優しくなるように見えるからさ目を開けて新しい息吹を抱いてゆこ
Let me serenade you with a simplistic dream about a country once reigned supreme. Separation of the state and church with a right to bear arms and pursue what works. Right to say what you feel, and the only retribution is another citizen can disagree. Ain't nobody shooting or made equal in the eyes of our creator. And the shit we don't agree with, we can change it later. Leaving plenty room for any enterprise, but still hold a man accountable if he can ruin many lives. Visualize, ain't nobody pass, cause the wall is fat. Ain't nobody getting a reprieve, cause they super packed. If a politician's crooked, we can yoke him up, and we can put him on the stand till he's broken up. We the people, and it's about the time we spoken up. It's my dream, and I wish I live it woken up. Home sweet home, this is home sweet home. Home sweet home, this is home sweet home. Sometimes the best kind of press is no press, cause it will scare you into thinking that the world is hopeless. There's more human beings that'd rather give you a hug that hurts you, so don't let the evil concern you. Yeah, people try to scam and then burn you, but he can't let it get to your core and then turn you. Not to say there isn't value in being a skeptic, as long as your perspective eclectic. Dismiss the negativity, counterfeit. But with tunnel vision, you start to close up your mind and forget what it is to define the condition of our species and why we haven't reached the divine. Need to elevate each other on this planet. Keep our differences, try to understand that we gotta coexist to survive the apocalypse. So grab a fellow human and start locking lips. Home sweet home, this is home sweet home. Home sweet home, this is home sweet home. Every time I stargaze, I wonder my place. Wonder where I'm fitting in this rat race. Meet the man in the moon in this fat face. While I'm sitting on the comp in my hack base. I don't fancy my chances. I won't live to get the inside scoop, all the answers. Enjoy the scientific advances while I travel around the universe's vast expanses. I won't get to see the end of the planet until my atoms get fused into granite. And the solar system blows its seed in a million directions close to light speed. It's a fate we all have in common. It's a shame that we waste our entire lives bombing each other on a little blue rock. So I guess that's why I'm having this talk. Home sweet home, this is home sweet home. Home sweet home, this is home sweet home. Home sweet home, this is home sweet home.
What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Evil Dojo. I am he with the sick flow, and I am lacking in some stolen crypto. Damn, that fucking sucks. How can I fix that? Well, good news is that Tiny Man actually said that they're going to be recompensating everyone who lost their stuff, or pretty much everyone who lost their stuff. So that should be coming in the next few weeks. It's going to be an interesting time in crypto for sure, but as a result, now we have a lot more time to kill. So what are we going to do with that time? That is the real question, huh? Besides drink coffee. That's exactly what I need to calm my nerves, is stimulation. Funny how that works. Ooh. Shoutouts to Octopus. I always think of this chatter whenever I play this track. Yeah. There we go. Right, so that is a complete run through of what I have up to this point. We've got a lot of features going in this game, and yet more to come. But a very simple requested feature is the ability to move using Vim-like controls. And really the big holdup for me has been deciding on how to turn that feature on and off, and that's one reason I went back and redid the title screen as a menu, is now I can start building towards configurable options such as left or right-handed Vim mode. Because in the end, you have the keypad, like the numpad. Actually, one thing is to make it so that you don't have to hit numpad every single time. That's something to come to. So let's say, in theory, we wanted to add an item to our controls, to our title screen. We have a construct title screen menu function right here. We're to simply copy, paste that line, change this to like options. So the function that I'm going to be calling has yet to be written. I don't even know that I need to pass R in yet. But the function is options. And so here we would define what happens, and so we'd probably have to create like an option menu. Oh, this is fucking jam-ass part of the track right here. I like how it was like super heavy at first. Like, let's back that up. I just want to focus on the transition there. We'll do the music commentary. This is actually an old album too. And it was just like gone. Oh my god. It's like if you ever want to communicate what it's like to bust a nut, that sort of transition in music, iconic of the feeling. I just want to talk about busting nuts while listening to metal. Don't mind me. Literally changing a name here, but by making it a completely separate class, I can configure it on an individual basis without having to like dig back into the code too deep later. It's kind of a thinking ahead type thing. I don't even know that I need some of those things, but because in the end, like the way that we construct each menu is kind of the same, and so some of this might be kind of silly. how I'm going about doing this. And I'm not really putting a whole lot of thought into each menu object, but in-time code can be refactored, so I'm not too worried about it. I love that transition into this part, man. This is fucking jam ass shit. Good random, 10 out of 10. We got some food here too, so you're gonna see me eat some leftover stroganoff. Now we created our new menu, we need to import it. Now we're instantiating an instance of this new option menu that we've created. I actually recognize that it's important for me to kind of explain what I'm doing as I'm going so that people can kind of keep up and participate, perhaps. Because it's one thing if I'm just sitting here coding and listening to music and having a good time on my own, but I want y'all to follow along with me and be able to keep up. Because otherwise I'm just going to blast on down the road. What sort of menu items would we be passing to this option menu? And so the option title that we're passing in, options. And so we can begin to configure individual options here if we want to.
Name server. Name server. Name server. You server. I'm name server. Name serving, got a query, I resolve it. Satellite bots revolving. Leaks got me like a honeybee spreading pollen. I illuminate the darkness like an angel falling. Moving stolen data full of pesos. Try to rob me, turn this bitch to Waco. Sitting in a Draco. Yo, bots do what I say so. Looking for the internet queso. Cooking web scrape code. 760 by 39. Young internet must be out of his goddamn mind. Make a pick resign. GPG encrypting sound. We gon' find out what they mind with the bots they design. But let's be honest, it ain't really about the money. Sometimes I find myself mobbing just because I think it's funny. Cause these companies be scummy. Their data make me a
Oh, I named it options menu.
Name server. Name server. Name server. You server. Name server. Name server. Yeah. Stupid dumb dummies. Welcome to the internet. Plug speaking gibberish. PGP dialect. All these routes intersect. Watch for the intercept. Strip kitty missteps. Smoke them like a cigarette. I map yo trap. Pop 3 take back. Survey from a web stack. You will never get it back. Blood on the tarmac. You gon' need some Prozac. Default creds on the Kodak. No playback. Flippity dippity hippity. Stand on the block. GPS cut. No Instagram. No TikTok. Only thing that matters is the time passed by the clock. Many machines watch. Triggered by a port knock. C2, see who? Making investigators start to feel real blue. Haven't got a damn clue. Serve rats, no food.
Oops.
Eyes we elude. Infrastructure we intrude. I map yo trap. Pop 3 take back. Survey from my web stack. You will never get it back. Blood on the tarmac. You gon' need some Prozac. Default creds on the Kodak. No playback. Flippity dippity hippity. Stand on the block. GPS cut, no Instagram, no TikTok. Only thing that matters is the time passed by the clock. Many machines one triggered by a
Okay, so it's obviously displaying, but it's not hanging around for too long. Once you actually select the option, yeah, Octo. All of these are good questions. I may or may not have seen a picture of you, but I don't remember. And I'm not sure I would describe you as pretty. But I wouldn't describe myself as pretty either, so. Except for my beard. My beard is fucking pretty. Something, Milkness, something. B-Rex talking about my beard. Octo was asking about what's up with the new channel. From my perspective, I could just say it felt right. In the end, I didn't really choose DRH. That was something that was the product of Hughboard and his marketing for JRH, but I think I interjected the other day a good question into his thought processes that probably led him in that direction in the first place, which was, do we really have to dick ride off of Load Radio Hour with our own branding? I mean, in the end, you know, the Bird brand is his own brand, and I like Bird Nest as a name much more than JRH. And Evil Dojo was my idea. In the beginning, this is actually really where I would have preferred the channel to have started. So, really, it's more like the universe correcting itself, coming back to the natural order and the way that things should have been in the first place. Well, as far as beards go, I started graying like maybe 10 years ago, so this isn't anything new to me. But as it is, because of my genetics, I have like 3 or 4 different colors in my beard, so it's kind of wicked, and I like it because it's all natural. This is why I'm growing it back out. So, I'm still wondering about this problem I'm facing. Title menu display is not being called in a loop, because when this exits, I'm curious about something now. So when this exits, we should get the title menu again. Like after you beat the game. I'm just curious. Nice. Oops. Damn it.
Sometimes I think I'm helpless, playing with my brains, no pellets. Abstraction of command and control with networks I develop. The way I envelop the internet's got script kitties jealous. Need a dirty goth bitch, don't want no Cinderella. Sometimes I think I'm helpless, fuck. Sometimes I think I'm helpless, playing with my brains, no pellets. Playing with my brains, no pellets. Abstraction of command and control with networks I develop. Need a dirty goth bitch, don't want no Cinderella.
Nobody's been bullied, Dingo. I'm not sure where you're getting this assumption from, but that never happened. I mean, it happened, but not recently. Okay, so actually, I'm exiting from the system entirely before it returns. Well, I don't necessarily want a hard exit. My handle input is called in a loop, right? Well, thanks, Spam Cartel, but I am far too late for that. I've always made an effort to avoid using the mouse if absolutely necessary. But for this particular setup, if I'm changing the volume on VLC, it's like Alt-Tab, mouse down, Control volume. And generally speaking, I minimize my mouse usage when I'm actually using the mouse, because There's a lot of mouse tasks that I hate in general, which is why I don't do Photoshop or any real serious image editing. You can do some cool stuff programmatically, though. Nice. Yeah, well, I've mentioned recently, for Christmas I got a electric standing desk, and once my quarantine is over, I'm gonna be getting that set up over here, and I'm very, 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 very looking forward to it. My grandmother was thinking that I could have benefited from an angled setup, but there's a lot of different ways that I can position myself. But getting the chair was a big upgrade because it offers so many different possibilities for me to actually sit. So I can be constantly shifting around and allow my natural spasticness to kind of flow. I've used Tiling Window Manager's Spam Cartel. I'm actually a big fan of Awesome WM. Actually, one option that I was considering towards that solution was doing what do you call it? Using MPlayer instead of VLC for music. No, negative dingo, it is not. I know I need to get like different casters for that, and there's a whole big thing about like the types of casters that you use. Some people get slip mats for the chairs, stuff like that. CMUS, huh? I'll have to look into that one. I've dug deep enough into like, well, I say deep enough. It was really more like scratching the surface. Can't believe I even got a B in this class when I took steganography in college. And for our project, we decided to hack the lame MP3 encoder by introducing steganographic tools long before they actually like had them built into the encoder itself, which that was like one of my first times digging really deep into an open source project and attempting to do anything with it. And naturally the project didn't even work. Like the MP3s that I was like producing were like fucking broken as shit. I couldn't even encode into like regular WAV files, but somehow they gave me a B for the effort. And it was kind of a good first exposure to really getting my hands dirty on something. A glass chair mat, and it's great. MPV, yeah. I've been wanting some good alternatives to VLC VREX, so I'm gonna have to look into both NC, MP, CPP, and MPV, as well as CMUS in the near future. Let's get back to it. What were we doing? I was examining why we're basically getting thrown out of the game at the very end of the game, as opposed to getting into a loop where we can get back to the title screen, because ultimately that affects the construction of things and making sure that certain things return, because once every loop we get input and stuff happens, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, what if you're in the game and you want to quit? And like, how do you get outside of this loop without using system exit? You're gonna see a lot of basically untidied up code in here, Spam Cartel, as well as blatant disregard for PEP 8, because I think that it is a terrible standard, and also because I've not come up with a solution to automatically turn my camel case style coding into PEP 8 style. Space Vim, I can like probably write something in Python for sure, and then bind it to like a Vim keystroke that would allow me to automatically take some sort of input and then automatically convert it into like PEP8. Because like, for instance, let's take handle input as a function, right? Like, you say just do it, and I'm like, lazy, dude. You don't understand how my brain works. Like, my mind is always somewhere else from where like I am right now. So if we talk about like the string handle input, what we'd be seeking to generate is handle underscore input. The whole reason that I'm opposed to the PEP8 standard is because it requires me to have to hit shift and then underscore for every single word of input, whereas you might argue, well, you still have to hit shift for capital input, but what's the problem there? Well, it's one extra character still. In my case, an inconveniently positioned character for my right hand to hit. Like, when I'm thinking about the actual ergonomics of my right hand, I only have access to the thumb as far as typing goes. I can't reach anything with my my 4 fingers, like the 7 key, the 8 key, 9 key. All of the things that someone with a normal right hand would be able to just casually hit without even thinking about it twice are taken for so fucking granted that you say do all the things with the spacebar. You can get something to change the case from snake case to camel case. Right, yeah. Well, I'm saying I could even write that myself, COVID. Bird. I've done a little bit of keyboard research, Dingo, and I have not yet come across what I would describe as a sufficiently good one-handed keyboard, because even in the case where I found some, let's say a magic keyboard existed that was perfect for me to type one-handed on, right? I would still have to either use my left hand to bounce back and forth between the keyboard and the mouse, or learn how to really get good with the mouse with the right hand. And actually, sometimes in my life, I do this sort of thing where I put the mouse in the right, that way my left is on the keyboard, and I can mostly do like, a lot of little one-handed things, and also practice using the mouse in my right hand, which historically I haven't really done a whole lot with. I've actually looked at Dvorak B-Rex, and honestly, it's more effort than it's worth at this point. QWERTY is actually a really good keyboard layout for a left-handed person. I can't say the same for Dvorak. Dvorak might actually be better for right-handed people in general, and yes, I'm aware of the variants of Dvorak. There's left-handed Dvorak, there's like another version of Dvorak. There's several other variants of keyboard layouts that like make an attempt to optimize for different situations. I've done my research. I'm gonna have to look into Space Vim though. You've got me really intrigued by doing things with the spacebar. I'm curious how that works. So we're gonna have to look into that. But to get back on point, the dude was asking more about like random white space throughout my shit, and that's mostly because A, I haven't like ran a standardizer across the code base yet, and B, when I'm actually writing code, frequently I like to do this kind of thing where I will just create a whole fuck ton of space in between two things, and then that way I can just focus on the pure function itself, and I don't get distracted by any other code that might come before or after it, and I can just really zoom in on this one thing and what I'm doing, right? I frequently do this when I'm writing code. So yeah, that's why that's the case. I mean, you could say GG equals Z. I think I have capital G set to be the bottom and then 1G to go up to the top. Yes, I'm aware you can collapse code blocks in a lot of different editors. Oftentimes it requires you to do some sort of interaction with it though. And actually you can do some sort of code roll-ups in Vim as well. But it's more effort than it's worth. I was actually playing around with working on this in Visual Studio Code earlier today because a student of mine is getting started with Python in Visual Studio Code, and because they're on Mac, we're having a hell of a time getting their shit configured. Meanwhile, I install it over on my end. I'm on Ubuntu, and it works instantaneously. It automatically recognized where my Python interpreter is at, whereas there's like a lot of little footnotes on Microsoft's website indicating that if you're using Mac OS right out of the box, Visual Studio Code doesn't always work. And that there's a lot of little finagling that has to be done in order to actually get it to recognize. And one of those steps was that we had to install Python 3 via brew, and that didn't even fix everything because we restarted and yada yada yada. Has a way to gray out blocks when the cursor isn't. Well, I mean, one of the reasons I've stuck with this setup for so long is I really am a big fan of this particular color scheme. The shading of gray and all of this just really fits, and it's always been fast. The only time it's ever been slow is like when working on my old MacBook, which was actually, or is actually a physical hard drive Mac. So it's like got spinning physical disks and all that good stuff. Yes, Mac OS does come with Python Octopus, but that's part of the problem. Visual Studio Code out of the box does not work with the default installed version of Python. Thank you for the follow, Basim. It comes with both Python 2 and 3. Yeah. Can confirm. Just because I've had my MacBook since like 2011, and it's not what I'm currently using now, because when I bought a AC adapter for it, because when Apple shipped it back to me, I was just telling the student about this earlier today, when they shipped it back to me last year, after I bailed on Florida, after leaving my MacBook in Jacksonville, Florida, this all true story, Apple store, and I had to like fight with them and their customer service to get them to ship me my fucking MacBook, because there was no way that I was going to be able to get back to Florida in the middle of a pandemic after coming to Texas. They finally relented and shipped it, and they didn't even wait to for me to sign for it. They just dropped it off at my sister's front door, and I'm lucky that the thing still worked, but they didn't even give me a power adapter with it. I didn't have a power adapter with me in my storage unit when I shut it down, and couldn't find any of my things back when we sold my grandmother's house. So it's been frustrating. But as a result, I bought the wrong power adapter on Amazon. I actually need a higher wattage in order to run it safely, because whenever I plug it into my MacBook now, the MacBook gets really fucking hot, and I don't think that's good. No, this is a very old MacBook, Dingo, and it still uses the, I'll even get it for you. I'll show it on camera. I mean, this is a very storied MacBook, and you know it's mine because it's got KMFDM stickers on the front. I'll show you. So, here we go. This is the KMFDM MacBook. One I've been using for, for over a decade. It does not have USB-C charging. It's the old style magnetic connection. Apple fucking dropped this shit off without even waiting for me to sign for it, and I'm lucky that I still got it, because I've had this thing since 2011, and it was something that was given to me to help get my start as a developer, because at the time I did not have my own laptop. Well, I did. Wasn't a very good one, though. And the person who wanted me to work for them wanted me to learn how to make iOS apps. And for that, at the time, unless you wanted to go the Hackintosh route, which was like atrocious, you had to do it on a Mac or a Mac Mini or whatever. But like in the end, it is not a 17-inch; it is a 15-inch. It's a mid 2012. I even got the tape on the camera still. Some of the keys might be, more or less, I mean, everything still worked last time I booted it up. It's just that the power adapter I got was wrong. It's the wrong wattage, and whenever it's actually up for a little while, the battery gets really fucking hot, and I don't feel safe running it, so I don't. But in addition to that, I've got a machine over here that is a machine I actually bought off of Woot. It's a desktop with 16 gigs of RAM and like a 3 terabyte physical hard drive. No, Octopus, I've had this Mac for 10 years now, and I know when it gets hot and when it doesn't, and when it's supposed to get hot and when it's not supposed to. It gets hot near the battery is where it gets hot, which is in the back, which is very different. There's a difference between it getting hot from like the CPU and like using it and actually like, doing something computationally intensive, which I've mined Monero on this long ago, and had no, it's like, I've run intensive, apps, I've run virtual machines, I've done a lot on that machine actually, and it's only got 8 gigs of RAM. It started off with 4, but it definitely, like not just the MacBook gets hot, but like the adapter gets hot too, and so I'm not taking no chances. It's probably some third-party fucking Chinese knockoff thing, and eventually get the correct adapter for it and be able to use it for something again. But as it is, because of the physical hard disk, it was so slow, painfully slow. Like this machine I've got here cost a fraction of what that MacBook cost at the time, even with a 8 gigabyte RAM upgrade that I did myself. And it's so much faster. It's not even worth it to get a MacBook unless you're gonna fuck around with the M1 chip or do some iOS dev, honestly. Just my 2 cents there, having worked in the industry and having a little bit of experience. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I know a little bit of things or two. Enough to say that Apple's got good hardware. Their software generally sucks, and most of the people who are in it for the fanboyism. People are still kind of riding Steve Jobs' coattails even long after he's dead, as if Apple still had anything to offer that you couldn't do yourself. It might just work for a while until it doesn't work, in which case you're going to have to rely upon the Genius Bar to do it for you, because you'll be incapable of doing it yourself, because you've been coddled to be a sheep and not figure out, how to solve problems. Straight up, Apple couldn't even tell me what was wrong with my machine when it started glitching out, and they had to ship me a new one from China, and I'm still bothered by that. Like, they even refunded me my purchase because there was a recall on the GPU, but they straight up replaced every part of that computer. It still didn't work. And so to solve the problem, they built a new machine and shipped it to me from China to replace the old one. And that's when this became, it went from like a early 2011 to a mid 2012. Okay, so back to this. I was examining do incremental returns, handle game input, basically how to solve this whole issue of being able to escape the game from within it if I'm going to be restructuring it in such a way that everything kind of returns and I'm not like force quitting from within the game itself. Because in the end, handle input is the thing that is like dealing with the after effects of pressing something on your keyboard. So this will almost like functional programming in a way, like I'm trying to eliminate side effects. And we don't have to necessarily do that now. Or do we? So in the end, when we hit quit, we don't want to quit. Oh, the bottom exit's not working now. Nice. Ooh, exit left there. That's awesome, actually. Okay, that's actually cool. That's exactly what I want for that. Now, getting that to facilitate into the new game feature. Someone was asking what I was eating. This is leftover beef stroganoff. When I was on Xcode, I had a Vim plugin. It allowed me to use Vim within Xcode. It was fucking great. I use that shit every day. No B-Rex. But currently they may appear that way until you get close enough to them. So I haven't implemented line of sight yet. The light radius concept still works, as well as cell discovery, but like, if you're too far away to see an enemy, you won't be able to see him physically either. It kind of makes sense. I'm not sure I'm going to leave it that way, probably, but I also don't know which direction I'm going to take it either if I change it. So for right now, it's kind of what it is. Shoutouts to Esky Bird and all of his success and progress on his project. There's in-game screen and score screen. Okay, so draw quit screen gets called at some point. So, for those who don't know what an HTTP post is, it stands for Harpoons, Torpedoes, Terminal Protocol, and post is something that you can do at your local post box office. Yeah, let's just appreciate this this album art for a moment. Why don't we? This shit is fucking brutal. I love this kind of stuff. Like, if I could get a job doing death metal album covers, I would just draw all day. In fact, maybe that'll be a good topic of ASCII creation. Well, you know, B-Rex, it's important to be forward-thinking, to be aware of what's coming down the pipeline. It's important to be creative. No, Spam Cartel, if I did this, I'd be doing it in ASCII Bird. And if anything, ASCII Bird has upgraded to the point where Jubird actually built in features that help me as a disabled developer and ASCII artist. Because most keyboards have the D, you know, have the D. Have the fucking direction pad, the arrow keys on the right hand side of the keyboard. Because of my right hand situation, I thought to myself, man, it'd be so cool if I could just like right hand make ASCIIs like entirely with just my right hand. And motherfucking Jubird built that feature in. So mad shoutouts to Jubird for being a friend of the the handicap community in general, by accommodating artists and their needs. If anything, now would be a great time for anyone who has ideas for ASCII Bird to shout out at Jubird and suggest that he implement them, because I think he's trying to quit development, and we don't want to see that happen, do we? You know, I want Jubird's success to run long and hard, just as I want my own success to run. Okay, so here we're actually quitting right away. ASCII Blaster lacked a lot of the features that I desired. I've made ASCIIs in ASCII Blaster, and honestly, ASCII Bird is superior, dude. Let's see. How can I make this more clear? ASCII Bird is superior. Me look you in the eyes when I'm talking to you. ASCII Bird is superior to ASCII Blaster. Jubird did it. There's finally a better ASCII editor, and the cycle shall continue from now until eternity. Let the great ASCII editor wars begin. The fuck is Mobius? I don't know what Mobius is. Mobius strip, what? Oh, as I yell into it. Mobius strip is what the person who first gave me that MacBook wanted the logo for their app to be. It's a very common theme. It was actually the front cover of my calculus book. Oh yeah? I've never used it. We've still got a little bit of time before LRH, right? I'll try to make an effort to sign off before it gets started. Oh, so someone was asking, I think it was B-Rex, about was it B-Rex? About like dudes disappearing. So like you see a dude right here, but like when he's in a tile that you haven't uncovered because of like fog of war, you won't be able to see him, obviously. I like how Milkness is trying to share links midstream. Shoutouts to Milkness, good friend of the show. So as you can see, there's two NPCs in this room that we can't see, and I just ran into one and killed him. Whoops. But the other one we still can't see. So if there we are. So he showed up there. So now he's gone, but he's like always one step away. Okay, I went back into the main game. Okay, that's not the loop I want. So draw the quit screen, and then we need to like raise an exception here. So this is, it's actually getting looped up here in the game loop. So we'd have to basically break out of the ASCII. We have to break out of the game loop. Nice. Well, if that's Mobius's work, then Mobius looks pretty clean. Whoever's working at it is very clean. Good job, Deacon. So at this point, if we were to raise an exception, it would allow us to break out of this loop. And then we could do a try here, and then if we happen to catch anything, it would return us back in here. Okay, bottom thing doesn't work anymore. So for the title screen, we're going to have a hard exit. So there we do hard exit. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so far so good. Uh-oh. Did I get killed? Yeah, God killed Dark Mage. Nice job. And my HP's dead, but it still like loaded me back into the main game. Yeah, right hand does a lot, like mostly hit enter and handle the right side of the keyboard. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, at my peak, my typing speed was something like 120 words per minute when I was in college. And on a casual just session like this, it's probably operating at between 50 and 70. Oh. It definitely feels recent still. Definitely mentally. I mean, is 6 months ago recent? It certainly feels like it. For all of the energy invested where does it go? One day you're here and then the next you're not. Oh, I think what I need to do is actually do this. Ooh, actually, I gotta back that part up for a second. The world must rise to fight back. Well, I wish I could say something specific in that regard, Dingo. Fucking milk this. Oh yeah, well, I certainly want to do things like that spam cartel, that's for sure. There was Mom has a lot of sides to her, kind of like myself, and at various points you'll see one side or another, but the sides that I liked the most sometimes crossed over into the sides that I didn't like the most. But at the same time, if there's something that I've taken from her and she's given me, is the tenacity to never give up, to never surrender, to always charge forward. I mean, after all, she is the one who got me into metal in the first place. Certainly not Dad who did that. Dad listened to country music. I thought he was gay. Let's see. So what happens if I actually step through this whole thing? Dark Mage killed Jesus. Nice. I love that I named my characters God, Jesus, and Satan. And I think John's in here too. Yeah. Dark Mage killed John. Dark Mage killed God. Dark Mage's attack missed Satan. There we go. Nope. And he killed me. Oh shit. Why is it loading back here? Oh, I mean, eventually I'll do like a really more appropriate well thought out thing rather than just simply name some testing characters, you know, her after her, you know, or something like that. B-Rex. Good comment, 10 out of 10. Well, if there is an authoritarian left here, then you're looking at him. Come at me and talk about code. Let's get pedantic. Let's see. So why is it looping back around? Insert title screen menu. When we actually run new game, it's going into game loop. Lawful Evil is one of 9 different alignments used in the tabletop RPG Dungeons and Dragons. Alignment is something that refers to kind of like your predisposition or your personality type, or you know, kind of like, you know, if you could think of, you know, good and evil as a spectrum, or, you know, like kind of like the political alignment, you know, spectrum that's like a 2D graph. You could think of alignment in a similar way. You have lawful, you have neutral, and you have chaotic, and then you have good, evil, and neutral. And out of those 3x3, you get 9 combinations, 9 possible alignments that you can choose to play as. The intention for me having it in this game is to try to make, you know, certain aspects as close to a D&D like experience as possible, if only from a single player perspective, and if only from, you know, a command line based, tile based gaming perspective. You know, the intention being to be able to build up a grid like system whereupon we can kind of automate and make some really cool procedurally generated worlds and stuff like this. FF6 into a roguelike? I would totally make a roguelike with the FF6 graphics, dude. Actually, there's some really cool Switch games coming out. One of them I think is like they look very similar to Final Fantasy Tactics. I forget the names off the top. Divine Chaos. Typically, in order to get into the divine level of anything in a D&D type game, you're going to have to get up into like the level 20 territory, which I played a campaign for like 2 years and we never got to epic status in that game. Playing like several hours a week on Friday nights and Saturday nights for 2 years, not ever getting to epic status unless you're constantly fighting and you're constantly throwing shit. Patreon, is at believe patreon.com/darkmage. Well, that also depends on your dungeon master. Racer, if you are also interested in sewing support, you are more than welcome to subscribe on Twitch using Twitch Prime. If you already have Amazon Prime, it is free. That way you get to watch without ads. And you also support me. In the end, the way that Twitch does payouts, you have to get like $100 first before they even pay you out. So if you don't make enough money in a certain period, they won't give you your money. And so I've been sitting on like $80 that I can't even access because I haven't made the full 100 yet. I believe, thanks to supporter Jira's help, that should be changing this month, and I should be seeing my first Twitch payout, officially making me a professional streamer. Even if I'm making chump change on the dollar, I can still at least say that I'm making money, which is a lot more than people can say in general. It's been a couple months actually, Dingo. Well, thank you, Eraser. You're fucking the man. I believe Eraser actually supported me during one of the more difficult times in my time in Florida. I think he actually gave me money to get Chinese food and something one night. So I don't think unpaid earnings expire, Dingo. But saying I never did COVID, and what a thing to bring up on stream now, doesn't mean that I'm not going to. We have to get into a sustainable loop here first. As you've known, the last 6 months have been rather turbulent, but I appreciate you as well. For the record, I was in a much worse place when Eraser bought me that pizza. I was actually getting help from a lot of different people at that time, and I'm really thankful that I had a support network, because I don't know how I would have gotten through that time without y'all. It was very tough. For the short version of it, I was living on a trap house, meth couch, paying other people's unpaid dues and fees and fines that I technically didn't have to do, but I did because I'm a good person, and avoiding bad situations, avoiding complications, avoiding drama in general. And this guy knows what's up. I don't even want to think about it. In fact, let's just go ahead and get rid of that right there, because the whole point is to blow past that shit. God damn, what a fucking terrible time in life that was. And you're good, Eraser, but man, yeah, shout outs. We are in a much better place now than we were then. In fact, I can't believe as much time has passed since then as it has. It's been a hot minute. Well, mentally, sure, but we're trying to get restable. It's a new year. It's a new time to get new students, a new time to get new content. As I mentioned, I'm going to be doing Skillshare videos. I've already started on an introduction to Python. You'll be able to watch that for free. Well, yeah, I appreciate that, COVID. What up, Butt Vomit? How you doing, man? Earl Low. Streaming, no. Recording, yes, with their permission. Over the years, and actually this is one reason I wish I had a better computer back when I first started tutoring, is I would have probably started doing that a lot sooner, or at least capping myself, saying different things that could be repeated over time, because as a tutor, you do end up having to repeat yourself a lot, and that's one thing I really don't like having to do, is say the same thing over and over again. It's one reason that I have a microphone, so that I can talk at my natural voice level, because in reality, talking to certain people, it's always a question of, are they deaf or am I just quiet? And as it turns out, even adjusting for individuals who talk loudly as it is, I'm just a quiet dude by nature. And living with people who are deaf is very stressful. That was one of the big issues. Having to raise my voice in order for other people to hear me, and then by the time you're like actually talking at a level that they can hear you at, you're screaming at them and you're fucking exhausted and all of your energy's gone. Thank you, Dingo. That's actually really good feedback. I'm liking this flow here. It's just kind of casual chat right now. In the end, I'm stuck with a little bit of a dilemma in this code base with what I was attempting to do here. Not exactly working out, but the nice thing is I can revert my changes if I decide I don't like this. But at the same time, we don't want to kill everything. Well, in order to do an AMA, don't I need like my own subreddit, which I've played around with in the past? Here, let me take a look at that real quick. No COVID and no COVID. I want to download this. Here, 1 second. Alright, so this is an ASCII enema thing of his space vim. He's looking at my code base. Shout outs to B-Rex for recommending it. I didn't catch everything that just happened there. Oh, my ZSH is standard on Mac machine. Oh no, it's not standard, but I don't know if it's standard or not actually. But ZSH is now the shell default for Mac machines, as far as I understand. Last time I was playing around with an alternate Vim setup was, I think, NeoVim or NVim, and even after installing plugins, it felt like it loaded really slowly. This does look pretty tight, not gonna lie. I can feel it. I can feel it for sure, BRX. While we're not going to change immediately in this stream, I'll be playing around with that over the next couple days, for sure. It's worth looking into, but I don't think that at the same time is necessarily going to solve the other issue, which is the PEP8 thing. But I can write code for that. I can write my own plugins for that, no matter what setup I'm actually working at. Is that NeoVim? I thought it was Space. Yeah, oh, is SpaceVim something you plug into NeoVim? Oh. Play it again. I didn't quite catch all that. I'm not sure if I like the line thing, but it's kind of neat. I imagine if you get like really nested in functions, that's kind of helpful. In order for personality traits to be PEP8 compliant, there would need an underscore and a Yeah. I mean, one thing I can write is like a like if I want to continue writing on like in my style and then convert it to Pep 8, I can always write scripts to do that. I just don't want to have to write in it from scratch right away. That's the most important thing for me, is that I'm not forced to type underscore when I don't want to. And as you can see, there's a lot of code in the code base that is kind of all over the place, but I'm trying to make an effort at times to go back and kind of fix that. Let's see. Apparently, Milkness got auto-modded for saying pubes. Good job. Yeah, I saw that it's one command. I just don't know everything. And yeah, I can, but it's an inconvenient character to type in general, Octopus. It breaks the generic typing flow that I have because it requires me to move my thumb from like home row kind of far away from the underscore character. I mean, further, like I have to move from home row all the way over to the underscore character, and generally speaking, you tab all your variables when you've already named them, but when you're naming them, you still have to type something in. So as I was explaining earlier too, most people who are right-handed aren't going to easily understand. They take it for granted because you can very easily get a finger up there, as opposed to myself, which, like I said, and you don't have to understand it, Octopus, but like try, for instance, typing with your right hand, but instead of using your whole hand, only use one index finger. And force yourself to only use that one index finger for your right hand while typing, and then see how inconvenient it is to have to type the underscore character on a regular basis then. So, no, but Vomit, I'm just dealing with the stream of comments from people, since we kind of got a little bit off topic there. Yes, Octopus. I wouldn't call it my fucked hand, though. I would just call it my other hand. Yeah, I can. Okay, so let's get back to a little bit more coding. Let's get back to a little bit more coding before LRH comes on. Okay, Octopus, but if you're being real, then I'm going to show you a recent clip that I made to illustrate my feelings on this matter. This has certainly been a question people have asked me across my whole life, right? But there is, I should say, set in a setting or a time and a place. Let's see. Yeah. Man, new version could power into that shit. Yeah, you know all that screaming that you hear in that song? That's me. Every time in my life I've been asked about my fucking hand. Okay? Just want you to know that. It's not what I want to be focused on. It's not who I am. And it's certainly not something that makes me any different from you, right? So, how are you fucking different? How about that? So that's how I feel about that. Shout outs to Octopus. I don't know how he could know me for this many years and not know which hand is actually my bad hand. You know, just shout outs to paying attention to details and actually keeping up with chatters. Because even if you are trying to be nice to me, Octopus, one historical problem that we've had in communicating is that oftentimes you're operating off of very old details and usually operating about like 4 or 5 months behind present reality. Which maybe that's just because you're not like always in chat like I am, but you know, it's okay. I've been trying to fix that. You know, I want us all to be on the same page. I want us to all be in, you know, in serial experiments lane speak, present day, present time. Now I want to listen to that. Great. Hold on. Let me get back to my game dev terminal here. There we go. So if I just push D, MS cell coding. Let's see. This will actually be kind of a, I mean, we didn't really get anything done on stream, but we tried something and it didn't work, and it's not always going to work every single time. But yeah, one of the problems with doing scripted content eraser, I feel, just is having to come up with the script and actually plan everything out and then record it. It's so you end up with possibly a better, you know, product, but at the same time, it's just so much effort. It's a lot easier to just go live and just kind of spit off the dome. Really? Well, if you were doing like stuff off the dome, then that was fucking impressive.
Present day. Present time.
Shoutouts to origin stories. Shoutouts to where we all came from. I think this will be where we close, y'all.
And you don't seem to understand. A shame you seemed an honest man.
Shoutouts to everyone who has shown up tonight. We're gonna be doing this more this week. in the very near future. Let's see. There we go. Shoutouts to patrons. We have a new patron tonight, Eraser. I haven't taken a look at what tier he's at, but for those who are interested, we have DMCA free uploads of the stream available to the $5 tier. Pay once a month, get access to all of my programming content for free. No, it should be $1 per month if you've subscribed at the $1 tier. Which, yeah, I think we have Logic and AA. No, $1 a month is just support tier, but $5 a month gets you access to all of my programming content, DMCA free, unmuted, uncensored. I figured $5 is not a terrible price point. I've taken a look at a lot of other content creators on YouTube, and it's a similar price range. Yeah, DMCA free, COVID Bird. $5 a month. Get access to all the music, unmuted. Basically be like a hangout with me in program and DJ session. This is not an Apple Watch, this is actually a Fitbit. This is a Fitbit, check it out. Oops. Let me hit a button on there. Yeah. You can see the price of Bitcoin on my watch. So I can always know when I'm losing money. It's not bad. But yeah, $5 a month. It gets you access to all my programming content, all the music selections. Also, Streamlabs. If you want to do text to speech, we have Streamlabs text to speech. Gold Chain's not on today. Good question. I will be doing shoutouts. I will be a lot better this time around about showing proper credit and support to my supporters. You want a Patreon, but I'm not wearing... Okay, well, I will fix that for you. Somewhere around here is the gold chain. Here it is. One makes we got the gold chain. Gonna bring the pain. I might have a crab claw, but I can still put a necklace on. So long as it's of sufficient length and, you know, girth. That's what she said. The Xmas lights are not on because they're not plugged in. Because the outlet is being occupied by a space heater. It's not a Cuban chain, though. I can link to the Amazon page that I bought it off of if you really, really want it. It was like fucking $10. I get so many questions about it. It must have been a relatively good fashion investment. I just wanted a little bling. You can't blame me, right? Yeah, we're gonna have to start the gold chain gang. Well, I mean, shoot, Eraser, you're the one who's got how many watches? How many watches was it, Eraser? Shoutouts to DNSK.
I want to thank Mom. I want to thank God. I want to thank Dad. No, not Dad, that motherfucker. No, today I went to the supermarket with my friend and we bought some energy drinks, and then we got home And then we drank these energy drinks, and suddenly we were in this big craze about, you know, gluing sandwiches onto cupboards with marmalade. It felt so good to feel that orange marmalade just slipping through your fingers while you're pressing that motherfucking piece of bread to the cupboard. And you don't just do it, you just do it.
Like, check this out.
Can you hear me?
We've got text to speech.
He's about to die of starvation. Panic, 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 panic.
This is a test donation for $71.
Yeah, so we have, we got Streamlabs up, we got text to speech. So, you know, if y'all want to do collaborative music streaming or DJing in addition to all of this, we are open to a lot of different options here. Just making sure it still works. I mean, check this out too. We've also got custom stuff in the chat on the Twitch side. We've got custom emotes. We've got that one. We've got this one. We've also got Eris. But some of the, I mean, I just had a lot of fun putting the Streamlabs stuff together. I think load should be coming on any moment now.
Paying for Dark Mage's protection from Octopus the IRC bully.
Shoutouts. Awesome. Well, thank you for Acer for becoming my first official Streamlabs donor. Alright guys, so I think, like I said, we're going to call it a night. We will be on more after I play around with Space Vims and we decide on exactly what direction we're going to be heading in next. Ooh,
Great
thank you,
stream
Dingo.
tonight.
Thank you, Dingo. I really appreciate it. Hell yeah, with that fucking Powerpuff Girls satanic circle. That shit is awesome. I got the best gifts for these things. Very appropriate, very stream. It does not go against Twitch Toss, so everyone have a great night. I will see y'all over in Pound LRH. Let's see, outro here. Peace.